The runner scores from second on a wild pitch. That's a good base runner. So I can handle that one. That's good base running.
Yeah. Well.
But the Royals seem to look pretty good. I love the Royals.
But the Royals are destined to go all the way. I don't care who they play. They can play the Cardinals, and it would be another boring 85 season.
It would.
The Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals.
Get the bonbons.
I will watch it because I want to watch the Royals win it. But I got to tell you, those guys play, and they play defense. They hustle. They're pitching. All the guys that are expected to do well are doing well, and all the people that have the opportunity to be on the stage to sparkle are doing so.
I agree with you.
So anyway, it's baseball season. We're also going to talk with Jay Johnstone. He's on his way. He's on the freeway somewhere, probably.
Jay Johnstone will be one of the greats of baseball. This man has played for so many. Can you name all the teams he's played for?
Yeah, off the top of my head, Angels, White Sox, Athletics, Phillies, Yankees, Padres, Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers again. He wound up with the Dodgers, and he was.
Let's get the Cardinals.
He was a Cardinal. Yeah, I think I said the Cardinals.
It's like 8 or 9 teams.
It was like 30 teams.
Off the top of your head, you're
amazing.
amazing.
He played 30 teams out of the 32, I think.
No, he didn't play. He didn't play 30 teams out of the 32.
How old is he? What is he?
Jay is 35.
He's 35. I
think he's being signed by the Dodgers as we speak.
He can pinch run. But anyway, so Jay is going to join us a little bit in studio here a little bit later on. We're going to talk about everything that's Dodgers and baseball certainly, but everything that's Dodgers. We have a new president of football operations, Andrew Friedman, and the demotion of, and that's what it is. It's the demotion of Ned Colletti, Dodger general manager.
Talking about the Dodgers making a general manager change.
Yeah, and they should, and that's okay, and we'll see what happens. But when we get back, we'll get into all this stuff, and maybe Jay will show up.
Yeah, we hope so. We're sending a car for him right now, an Uber cab. Stay with us here. It's the PM Show Weekend Edition with the one and only Mr. Fred Dreyer on CRN.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
Did you know up to 1 in 5 Americans will get the flu this year? Because less than half of us get vaccinated? You didn't know? That's okay. We do. Rite Aid has certified immunizing pharmacists at the ready to discuss your risks, answer your questions, and shield you from what you don't know. So get your flu shot, no appointment necessary, at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm Michael Horn, the star of our show, the one and only Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Yeah, we have a new general manager, a new president, Andy, I'm going to call him Andy Friedman from the Tampa Bay Rays.
When you say we, you're talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers have already made a general manager change.
Yeah. And he'll be announced. He was announced probably today. We'll probably get the upshot of it later on this evening. But this team had to make a move. I was talking. I'm going to talk to Jay about this too. I'm a big believer in how you play this sport, and I don't care what the talent level is. I believe this. I saw this in pro football, and I've seen it all through my youth. That if you're organized and people are taught a system and they are given the expectations of how to perform and what to do and understand the game and play the best they can play and have a little luck without injuries, you can win half your games in football. I've seen it. And with a little bit of extra talent here and there, you can win 10 out of 16 games, And so I look at all this baseball stuff and I realize that, no matter what the talent level is, and the Dodgers have an awful lot of talent level. They got a big $240 million payroll. But if you get somebody in here that will get talent that is that understands how to play the sport, and what I mean by that is one of the things I noticed in the Dodger. And we talked about this last week when we had Ron Say on here, and I started to touch on this subject, and I kind of pulled back a little bit. But the pitching philosophy, there used to be a Dodger way of teaching people how to pitch, and the reason to do that is the baseball in the parlance is that pitching owns the game. And in order to own and control the game and to break your opponent's will, you have to be able to have a staff, not just a one person like a Kershaw, but you have to have a staff that understands and pitches the same way with the mentality of hitting the corners. Live on the corners, stay away from the middle of the plate. Have off speed, have a philosophy of knowing how to pitch to the guy on deck as well as pitch to the bench. I have the interesting conversation many years ago with Don Drysdale about this very thing, and the subject matter at that time was Nolan Ryan, and Nolan, being the Hall of Famer he is and the great pitcher that he was Don was talking. I was sitting in the booth with him, alongside of him during an Angel broadcast, and Nolan was pitching, I think, against the Orioles. And Drysdale was was doing the announcing, and he was making comments, smirks, and he'd write stuff down on a piece of paper, and as they were changing innings, I would ask him, what he was thinking, and he says, what's really interesting is he says, here's a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame probably. I mean, he's just a powerful, powerful man, and here he is. And not paying attention to how the manager is setting the defense in the outfield. And he says he's pitching to the wrong part of the plate when the defense is set a certain way.
That's amazing. This is a guy that knows baseball if he's talking about this, right?
Yes. And I said, well, what is a pitcher? I was a pitcher all through my youth and stuff, but not on the scale these guys were, certainly. But I did understand what my job description was and how I was supposed to perform. And what not to do, and that's throw the ball over the plate. You learn that when you're 9, 10 years of age. Don't throw the ball over the plate. Throw it to the glove.
Throw it to the glove.
And the glove is on the corners. And the Dodger way has always been, you teach these pitchers that you pitch inside and you pitch on the corners. You pitch on the black.
So you're pitching on the black part of the plate, on the outside of the plate. The corners, you're hitting down low, up high, left, right side.
You're working the box, and you're throwing off speed. And there's a philosophy, and the philosophy was you control the game. You are the one that will break the will of your opponent at the plate. You've got your outfielders and infielders and all your defensive people behind you. Let them do their jobs. Put the ball in play, but make them hit pitches they don't want to hit. Make them hit off the handle. Make them hit off the nose of the bat. And when Jay comes in, he'll really get into this because Jay was a 267 lifetime hitter.
It's a great guy. And Jay, and I'll ask him again how you handle yourself at certain situations in a game. Jay, not only a great player, but a great pinch hitter.
And this, a tremendous teammate, which is part of the glue that believe me, people look for when they're assembling a team and having teammates. You've got to have great teammates. I think is what's
wrong with a lot of the teams like the Dodgers and the Angels that sort of crapped out in the playoffs, who won a lot of games, but they didn't have the makeup of being a team. They had a lot of great players, but players that are more individual players instead of playing for the team. The Royals play as a team. They know what each guy has to do.
Well, I'm also going to say so do the Giants and so do the Orioles and so do the Cardinals. And for that matter, all the teams that made it into the playoffs, that won a lot of baseball games, proved that they won it because it's no fluke. They won it, and that was the plus of it. But the ones that last, the ones that really take it to the next level, the ones the 4 to 2 people that are left, the 2 teams, the 4 teams that are left is extremely rooted in the fundamentals of the sport and how to play. And to play unselfishly, And but the conversation that Drysdale was having, what we were having, in between innings was the philosophy of pitching. And I looked at the Dodgers this year, and I didn't see a philosophy. I didn't see a philosophy so much in the starting pitching. Each pitcher, and again, I'm going to stand corrected when Jay comes in. I'm going to see what his opinion is. But what I would see would be great pitchers pitching the way they want to pitch, and not necessarily reflective of what the philosophy.
Say that one more time. Great pitchers pitching the way they want to pitch,
doing what they want to do, that may or may not coalesce with what the philosophy of the organization is.
There you go.
So it was always the pitching ruled the game. Dodgers were classically known as a great organization for pitchers. Why? Because they had a philosophy. They understood how to attack the plate, how to attack the hitter, and what the philosophy was. And they had a command of breaking balls and fastballs and placement and how to pitch and why you pitch. Drysdale gave delivery pitches to the Cincinnati Reds. He took Vada Pinson and all those guys and knocked them to the ground.
Knock them off the plate. You're right.
And the home plate umpire would come out and Drysdale would come off the mound and just say, "Hey, that's part of the plate. I'm pitching to it. Tell him to back off. If he gets hit, that's too bad. I don't mean to hit him, but I'm pitching right there." And not enough Dodger pitchers today, for me, pitched inside. I was heartbroken for Kershaw, like we all were when Adams hit the home run on a hanging breaking ball. Anybody can any left-hander can throw a hanging breaking ball to a left-handed hitter. I wanted him to saw the bat off inside on this guy. He's not going to get around on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, for crying out loud.
We'll continue straight ahead as the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio with the one and only Mr. Fred Dreyer. CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101 or visit fountaingroveinn.com.
Are you married? Do you and your husband both have term life insurance? If you both don't, you should. You have a lot to protect. Call now, get a free quote for your husband, and while you're at it, get a quote for yourself too. Because you both need term life insurance. Call now. 800-915-9542. 800-915-9542. 800-915-9542. Rates are at all-time lows. We'll shop over 30 top-rated companies to get you the best possible rates. Term life insurance. It's the perfect way to protect the quality of your family's lifestyle. You and your husband both need term life insurance, so call now for a free quote for the both of you. 800-915-9542. 800-915-9542. 800-915-9542.
Homeowners, there's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home and loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Call now. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
The Doug Stephan Good Day program, early morning radio, and I guess it is radio, although it's radio on TV because this is CRN Digital Talk. You can find out what's going on in the world. We talk about the issues of the day, the events of the day, the people that people are talking about. We have an interesting way of looking at the news and having a little fun with the issues. So if you want to have some fun, learn a few things, and get up on the right side of the world, Doug Stephan's Good Day program, weekday mornings, 2 to 7 a.m. on CRN Digital Talk.
It's the PM Show, weekend edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm Michael Horn, along with the great Sultan of Safety, 2 safeties in 1 game. An actor extraordinaire in television, motion picture, stage, and now radio. Talking about the one and only Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Thanks so very much. Welcome back to our show.
And joining us, Fred, a guy who's played on so many baseball teams. Actually, the baseball company went out of business trying to make the cards. They couldn't get enough cards for the man. But
33 teams. He played for 33 teams. I've got it written down right here.
I think it was actually 55 teams. But
the Penthouse Pets was the best.
Yeah, Penthouse Pets, he was great. He was on the Dodgers and the Angels, and he was on the Yankees and the White Sox and the Cubs, and he was on Oakland, and he was on the San Diego Padres. And he was on
Yankees. He was on the Yankees.
I got the Yankees. Phillies, big Philly. And a lot of people don't realize that he was for a while with the St. Louis Cardinals. Mm-hmm. And the man played like on 9 teams, and he's the one and only.
Why isn't that down here?
Because he didn't play very long on the St. Louis Cardinals. He was there for a look.
Did you cash the check?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Move up close to that microphone, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Mr. J. Johnstone.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with you two sweethearts.
Thanks so very much.
Thank you, darling.
Now, I want to ask you a question. I'm sure you followed everything that's been going on that has involved the Dodgers since last March, since they went to Camelback out in Arizona. The overview for you. On the team, give us an autopsy. What was your take on the 2014 Dodgers?
Well, there were some guys that really started off very slow. You could look at Ethier, you could look at Kemp, you could look Puig got in his little spit, where he backed off a little bit, and some guys just didn't perform well. And that's happened if you go back the last couple of years. The team doesn't get off very well hitting wise, and I don't understand that because they're all good guys. I mean, I've talked to each and every one of them, and see what's going on and all that stuff, but they get in a funk, it seems like, for the first month of the season. And then as the season started to roll on, it was the time where they sent Matt Kemp down to Rancho Cucamonga to get a swing back. And I went down to watch him because I knew something had to be watched. I saw him strike out 12 times in a row against A-ball pitching. 12 times in a row. And he had his bat going around like a whirlybird up here when he never did that before.
Breaking balls down and away?
Breaking balls, fastballs, he just struck out. Yeah, he didn't even hit the ball. And so I'm thinking, what's going on with the hitting guys? They got to see this. I'm seeing it. And what he was doing is he was swinging his bat way up here, and sometimes you get caught with it up front. Now you got to go all the way back to get that swing into going, and he wasn't hitting the ball. And I'm very surprised that they didn't work on him early with that. Ethier,
but I let me interrupt for just a second. Okay. I might be wrong on this. There was a conversation about that before the break, and from what I gathered was that he was reluctant to get closer to the plate, to move his feet around and quiet down, and they finally, I guess, Valentine. Okay. And Mark McGwire kind of
talked to him,
double teamed him, and just said, "Look at the video,"
And that really helps. But like I said, sometimes you got to look in the mirror. You've played with players that sometimes they get in a funk and all that, and it gets in their head, and they don't perform.
Let me interrupt a second, because I was at a baseball game literally 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, with you, Jay Johnstone. We're sitting there watching Matt Kemp when he first started going into this funk, and you were saying, there's something wrong. He's not comfortable. He's never going to hit that ball. How can, in this day and age in baseball, where you're paying millions of dollars as an organization, allow this to happen for 3 years before it finally gets corrected? That's my question.
That's a very good question, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about it. And I'm surprised that they didn't catch it sooner. And I can't blame the hitting coaches, because the hitting coaches probably saw it and went to Matt, and maybe Matt was reluctant to change. Sometimes players have a tendency when they get into a funk, they get a little stubborn. okay? And they want to get out of it their way. And sometimes getting out of it their way just doesn't do it. And finally, he got down to where he was lifting his front foot a little bit, staying back, and swinging at pitches in the strike zone.
Well, they also said his shoulder started to feel a lot better.
That was the other thing. With that shoulder injury, when he tried to make that diving catch, that'll bother anybody in your swing.
Yep.
So I think he tried to compensate for that by maybe shortening his swing or doing some of this other funky stuff so it wouldn't hurt as much. Now, you can take all the shots you want, but it doesn't make any difference. Your shoulder hurts, and it affects your swing.
And the interesting thing is, it's just like a pitcher, isn't it? Mechanics.
Very much so.
Isn't that right? I mean, a hitter, Jay, isn't that? Don't you have to work on that sense memory of swinging the same way all the time?
Well, you'd like to do that, but you have to work within your realm of being able to do certain things. If you're not a home run hitter, you can't go up and swing for the fences. You
right?
got to try and stay
Well,
back
you have to know that.
Right,
you have to know what you are.
You have to know what you are, and sometimes I think these guys overdid it. And they wanted to, they've tried to hit home runs all the time. You can't do that. You got to hit the ball where it's pitched.
Well, Matt Kemp is back, and now he is ready to roll for 2016. But we'll come back. We'll talk with more.
We want to know if Jay
baseball.
Johnston's ready to roll for 2016. That's what we need. We'll find out about that straight ahead here on the PM Show Weekend Edition with the one and only Fred Dreyer. Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 888-465-9720. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed, fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 888-465-9720. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance, and you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free and home consultation at 888-465-9720. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 888-465-9720. 888-465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
Did you know that the first 6 years of school in Japan focuses on building ethics and character into their children? No wonder they have a very low crime rate and are so responsible. They also do their own version of the water cure. Well, our researchers scoff at it, yet Japan is one of the world's healthiest nations. Sadly, we are the most unhealthy of the highly industrialized nations and rank 72nd at the world's worst price. If that's not enough, their nation is so harmonious and cares so much about each other, they believe that the worst thing that can happen to a Japanese is to fail at being deserving of great respect. Would you believe that our political parties are so unethical? They accept campaign contributions from drug companies whose income gets bigger the worse our health becomes. How ethical can our government be when it sees nothing wrong with voting themselves a lifetime pension after just 2 years of service? We call ourselves the greatest nation, yet we lead the world in prison building, locking our citizens up, and need for lawyers. We say we're the richest, most powerful nations, but are full of chaos and can't solve high-profit problems. Paid by Connie and Bob Butts.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you can make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? Yes! According to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can make almost twice as much. Going back to college is now easier than ever. There are select online colleges that provide laptops to their students. In fact, there are thousands of college programs on your laptop. You can go to college anywhere and everywhere right from a laptop. Call My College Laptop and you can find hundreds of programs from accredited colleges and universities nationwide. Start a new career in law enforcement, business, information technology, healthcare, and hundreds of others. Call My College Laptop to find an online college that will provide you with a laptop. In no time at all, you can double your earning potential. Double your earning potential. Call now. 1-800-731-4185. That's 800-731-4185. 800-731-4185.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
Hi, this is Stan Weissleader.
And Malcolm Berman.
Join us each week for The View from Over Here on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Tuesday at 10 Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern.
We'll talk about everything and anything. News, sports, and the movies with Jerry and Jeff Cutler.
That's The View from Over Here. Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on CRN Digital Talk.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition, CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm Michael Horn, the star of our show, Mr. Fred Dreyer, ladies and gentlemen, the Sultan of Safeties.
thank
Great superstar.
you so much.
Jay Johnstone is our guest in studio, baseball legend. Yes, Fred.
Ready?
Yes, I just want to make sure they knew that Jay was here.
I was going to tell him.
Did I tell you that? No, Jay's still here.
He's up flying around somewhere.
That's it.
Jay's in his car, is what he is. It's a drive-in radio show.
That's it.
Do you know how good that would be?
It would be great.
If we all had cars,
just
drive right in,
turn the radio on, hang it on the glass, and then you're in good shape. Wait for the cartoon, and then So anyway, the point is that I like Don Mattingly as a person. I like him. I think people like him. I think he's a likable guy.
Dodger baseball manager.
I think he has a very good temperament for people for
being a manager
for the long haul. Yeah. 160 some odd games. I do think there's when the game compresses. I do think he's tardy in reacting. I still to this day, and I don't understand this, and maybe you can help this out. When a pitcher gets in trouble, especially Kershaw, shouldn't the catcher go out to see him? And shouldn't the pitching coach come out to see him?
Not the pitching coach.
Okay.
Just the catcher.
Why not the pitching coach?
That's because the catcher is the one that's catching him, and he can see everything he does. And he may not. Sometimes he'll shake off a pitch, and or sometimes he'll put the glove in a location and he's not hitting.
Yeah, but you want to slow the game down a little bit too. You want to go out there, the guy's getting hit. You want to just
that's why
down.
The catcher will do that. You don't want to blow a thing going out to the mound. And the next time he goes out, in case there's something really important he has to talk about, he has to take him out. So the catcher calls time and goes out there.
Correct.
Okay, and you talk to him a little bit, or he may see something and said, he may say, Clayton, he said, I'm noticing that your elbow, your elbow's way down, like 3 or 4 inches. You throw that breaking ball up here, you're way up high. You got to get down so you can pull it down. Make that spin, pull down. And he may be throwing it from here, and he doesn't know that. So a lot of times, that's why catchers always have made good managers, because they see the whole game in front of them.
I like that philosophy. I agree with
and if you watch the first 2 games at Dodger Stadium, watch Molina, the catcher for the Cardinals.
Very good.
Versus Ellis. Ellis is a fine catcher. I'm not going to quibble. But the difference in of how you approach, how you play the game is extremely critical. To me, that's what I watch. I watch how people interact and how they play the game. Everybody's great. Everybody can pitch and catch at this level. All of that's true. But when you've got Kershaw, especially under the storyline, the narrative of what happened a year before, he's opening the series up at home. He's ahead by 6 runs, and he melts down suddenly in the 7th inning, and there was no visit to the mound. To me, that's wrong.
I agree.
Now I'll agree with you on that, and that's what makes a difference in a good catcher, because he can pick up things that the pitcher does not understand what he's doing, or he can go to the mound as many times as he wants, and they're not going to replace him.
Yeah,
that's when he takes the time and goes out and says, "Hey, look, take a deep breath, settle down, okay?
Slow it down a little bit.
Get your arm back up." You say you're throwing your curveball, and you're releasing it not where you normally do, or something. So he can say a few things to him, but what he does, he just breaks attention, and he can go out and talk to the guy.
That's it.
And all the teams I've ever played on, Bob Rogers, Bob Boone, all the great catchers, stuff like that, they're all that way. Johnny Bench. I mean, he'd go out and rip your ear off. You'd have to put your hands over your ear because the kids would scream with what he was saying.
Yeah. But what you're saying is that he's the quarterback
on
the field.
You got it.
That sets the tone and says, that's not going to work anymore. Here's what we're going to do.
You got it.
And he kind of reboots the pitcher a little bit.
Yes.
He kind of just reboots him a little bit. The other thing is that we were talking earlier about, I had a conversation with Don Drysdale many years ago at Angel Stadium when the Orioles were in town and Nolan Ryan was pitching. And during the game, he was I was sitting there fiddling around watching the game, and Don was calling the game, and then when the game was changed innings, he would just take his headsets off. He said, I don't understand this guy. And he says he's not pitching to the defense. You know, he's pitching the ball down the plate. He's power pitching. He throws the ball 99 miles an hour. He's throwing it down the plate. He challenges hitters when he really shouldn't. He should pitch more to the inside on this team here. And he's not pitching to the defense, and that's why you'll see the defense continually shift, trying to figure out how to play what he's pitching. And so we were talking along those lines, and then he started talking about the philosophy of a pitching staff and how it affects the team and how it leads the team. And you're an outfielder. This is a perfect opportunity for me to ask you this. As an outfielder, what are you? If you're a right fielder, center fielder, left fielder, but you're a center fielder. Center fielder. So you
should be all fields, really.
But you have a great eye shot through second base,
right through the mound of the
right
catcher.
Down the mouth, right into the deal. What are you as a center fielder watching?
Well, I'm watching where my infielders are playing. Okay, that's the first thing I look at. I want to make sure they're playing, and because what I would do. Jimmy Pearsall was my mentor as a outfield coach, and you couldn't ask for a better defensive outfield coach. He was a little nuts. Went nuts twice. We already know that. Walks around the clubhouse going, "Here's the papers that prove I'm saying." But he would tell me.
Well, Mike does that. And,
what's wrong with that, Jay? What's wrong with that?
I got some papers for you. Don't worry, Mike. But he would tell me. He said, "You have to look and see. Okay, so if you got a pitcher up and he's throwing inside, and you got a right-hand hitter up, and he's pulling everything down the line foul." He said, Jay, don't stand in the middle of the field where I said, move a little bit towards the left field side of the field because he's way out in front.
He's telling you where he wants to go.
Yeah, or if he's behind the pitch. Let's say the pitcher's throwing the ball hard and he's not catching up to it. So he's fouling the ball off the first base side or maybe shots down the first base line. So you have to move accordingly to each hitter, and sometimes you move accordingly to each pitch. And you watch the catcher. And you can see from the outfield where he sets up. He'll set up inside. He'll set up outside. Well, if he's setting up outside and the guy's a right-hand pitcher, I'm not going to go over to left field. I'm going to stay a little bit more towards right field.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting because not a lot of this stuff. I noticed that they were talking about Jock Peterson, the young kid coming up, from Albuquerque for the Dodgers in the last month of the season, and they were talking about how he was moving on every pitch. How he was absolutely concentrated and focused in on every single pitch.
And that's really good for a young outfielder to do that, to have that mentality.
That's good training. That's good training.
All right, it's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. You can email Fred Dreyer incoming at crntalk.com. That's incoming at crntalk.com. And we got Jay Johnstone in studio. We're going to continue straight ahead right here on CRN.
The flu, pneumonia, whooping cough, hepatitis A, shingles, meningitis, tetanus. That's a scary list. But did you know immunizations can protect you from every one? You didn't? Well, we do. Rite Aid pharmacists are certified to immunize against the most common preventable diseases. Find out what immunizations you need with a free immunization evaluation at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Availability and age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, when you take 2 separate trips at Comfort Inn or any Choice Hotel, you can earn 1 night free. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 9/4/14 through 11/12/14. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
Hi, folks. Fred Dreyer for Regenix. Like so many people today, I was losing my hair. I was literally watching it fall out, jumping right off the top of my head. So I said, that's it, enough. I called Regenix. When they introduced me to their patented hair analysis program, I immediately saw why I was losing my hair. Through their microscopic examination, I saw gray, sickly scalp. The hair follicles themselves were caked and clogged with the dirty, oily sludge. I was so relieved. Finally, there was hope. So now as I approach my 8th year on the Regenix program, my scalp is pink and clean and my hair is growing back. That's right, it's growing back. It makes so much sense. Don't wait. Call Regenix right now. Go to the phone and put an end to your worries. Start by calling 1-800-REGENIX. That's 1-800-REGENIX. Or go to Regenix.com.
Welcome back here to the PM Show Weekend Edition with Fred Dreyer, our guest Jay Johnstone. Let me say this. The great baseball teams always have strength up the middle. Good catcher, good pitching, good second baseman, good outfielder. They sit Puig down because he's not performing in the last game. Ellis isn't going to the mound. And a slump there at second base is our second baseman and Gordon, D. Gordon, the D-man, who had a great season, choked during the playoffs. How can you have a great season and then choke during the playoffs?
We talked about this, I think, last week. Why wasn't Justin Turner in that final series? You mean to tell me he came up as a pinch runner and a pinch hitter once? That's it? He should have been in the lineup. That
Uribe was struggling.
He was hitting the cover off the ball. If you have to apologize to D. Gordon, say fine. When you're starting to catch on and get on base, we'll put you in the game.
Thank you very much.
But in the meantime, Justin Turner plays. He should have played, and they should have taken Hanley Ramirez out after the 6th inning.
Well, you look at Justin Turner, and then you look at D. Gordon.
Of the Dodgers.
And who do you want up in a key situation? Somebody that can steal a base or somebody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark?
Well, if you're on the Royals, you like somebody who can steal a base. They did steal 7 in one game. But there is a difference between playoff baseball and regular season. You can't sit there and wait for the guy to come out of his slump. You got 5 games to do it.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. There's distinctly 2 different seasons. There's the regular season and the playoff season.
Right.
What, in your experience, what did you feel as though was the biggest difference? I guess, when does the team shift into a different gear? When they know they're going to be on a playoff run, when they know they're in the playoffs, and what's the pacing? Take us through the preparation for the playoff run.
Well, I had a pretty good teacher way back then on the Phillies and on the White Sox.
Who was that?
And that was a guy named Dick Allen.
Oh, boy.
And now Dick Allen always took a lot of flack for a lot of the things that he did, but when it came to baseball...
Also known as Richie, right? Richie Allen at first.
Richie Allen, Dick Allen, okay. I would have made him a GM on a team a long time ago. In fact, the Phillies, to this day, use him as a guy that comes up and finds out about different people. But he was so smart and so energetic about being able to watch young players and see what they can do and what they can't do and where they should play and where they shouldn't play. Mm-hmm. And so he would give me ideas. He said, sometimes, Jay, you forget the game. You got to watch all the idiosyncrasies going on. You got to watch where the pitcher's doing. You got to watch what the catcher's doing if he's going outside. You watch what the batter does in the on-deck circle. You watch and see if a guy's injured. You watch if a guy can't run. There's a whole lot of things to this game that people don't even think about.
But in the playoff situation?
In a playoff situation, you have to look for a ball to hit as a hitter in your strike zone. And if it's not, you basically let it go until you get 2 strikes. And then when you get 2 strikes, you look for a ball that you can drive right back through the pitcher because you got to make contact. You got to make contact and you got to put the ball in play.
So the philosophy is you're going to look for your pitch until you get 2 strikes on
right.
it. And then you're really protecting the plate.
And then you got to protect the plate by maybe you can some guys would choke up a little bit. Some guys would just concentrate on taking a shorter step and try and drive the ball right back through the middle.
I want to ask you this. I think I know the answer. How many times have you seen it? And Hanley Ramirez it comes to mind.
Dodgers shortstop.
That's right. Is there's a runner in scoring position, 1 or 2 people on. There's 1 or 2 outs.
And they pop up.
And he swings at the first pitch.
Yeah.
Don't you have to take pitches? Aren't you looking for pitches?
Some way, yes. But if it's in your zone, no. If you see the pitch that you're looking for in your strike zone, between below your belt and just above you're right below your chest, if that's your zone to hit it, you got to hack at that pitch because he's throwing it for a strike in your zone. You might not get that pitch again. So you can swing at that first pitch if it's where you want it.
Oh, I see.
If it's not,
okay,
then you take it.
Okay, now here's another question. Did you know Manny Ramirez?
Yes, I did.
Okay. He made a comment when he was with the Dodgers. He made a comment at this time, and I don't know how it filtered out and how I picked it up. But someone asked him, I think a reporter was talking to him about Boston, being in Boston. And he says, and in Cleveland, he says, when I came up, he says, I was never afraid to stand out there naked 0-2. He said, I wanted to see as many pitches as I could. He took pitches. Mm-hmm. And he said I was confident that I could hit for power and accuracy with 2 strikes on me. He says many hitters are frightened to get to 2 strikes.
Yeah. Because they're afraid they're going to strike out.
That's a big deal, yeah.
And
that's true.
You know what? You can't be afraid to strike out because you're not perfect. You're going to strike out once in a while. But when you take that first pitch, okay, you get an idea. You get an idea of the velocity. You pick up the ball speed when it's coming in, the release from the pitcher's hand. You pick up a lot of things.
That's what you're looking for, is where the ball comes out.
Where it comes out of his hand, okay? And you're looking for that pitch. Now, you know your zone, okay? I've seen guys that, they try and throw their chest out a little bit or duck down a little bit, maybe get in the strike zone, but that's okay until you get 2 strikes. And you shouldn't be afraid to take 2 strikes. But when you get 2 strikes, now you know you have to, okay, now I'm looking for the ball. I have to put the ball in play.
But you're trying to get to see as many pitches from him as you can.
And in the first at-bat.
In the first at-bat.
The first at-bat. And then after that, you've seen those pitches, and now you know what he throws. Now you know that what the breaking ball, what kind of break it has on it. Or you know
plus you get a see because a couple of innings have gone by the time you come around the second time. Yeah. What you're seeing is what he throws in situations.
And where the defense is playing.
Yeah. Right. That's interesting.
And that's why I said that's why in your first at bat you always want to go as deep in the count as you can.
Yeah. See as many pitches as you can from the gut. Well, we're looking at this playoff situation here, and I don't see anybody beating Kansas City. I think the Giants will beat St. Louis.
Kansas City. We do this show Wednesdays, by the way, at 4:00. So we do know that Kansas City's Royals are in the World Series. We wait to see who's going to be in with the Cardinal Giants series. Straight ahead, we continue right here on the PM Show Weekend Edition with the one and only Fred Dreyer along with Jay Johnstone.
Hi, this is Fred Dreyer telling you to sign up for FanDuel and win cash this weekend. Chris from Detroit has won over $656,000 playing fantasy sports at FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com is the leader in one-week fantasy football leagues for real money with immediate cash payouts. Entry fees start at just $1. No season-long commitment, no upfront fees. Play each week or whenever you want. FanDuel is paying out more than $10 million every single week this NFL season. But you have to play to win, so sign up today. Go to FanDuel.com and click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner. Use my code DRYER and sign up now. And as a new user special, FanDuel will match your first deposit dollar up to $200. That's up to $200 free. Offer is only good for the first 50 people that use my code DRYER. FanDuel.com, where every week is a new season. That's FanDuel.com, code word DRYER.
What's your IRS problem? Do you owe back taxes? Is there a lien placed on your property? Have your bank accounts been frozen or seized? Have your wages been garnished? Are you being audited by the IRS? Are they sending you letters that demand actions and have urgent due dates? Well, solving your tax problems is as easy as calling Taxes 321. The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. You need the best representation to give you peace of mind. You need experienced professionals that can cut through the red tape and stop the collection process. If you have a serious problem with the IRS, call the Taxes 321 network today. We'll get them off your back.
800-511-3022. 800-511-3022. 800-511-3022. 800-511-3022.
There's no better way to say I love you I'm thankful you're in my life. I'm glad to be with you. I'm thinking about you. Or I miss you. Done with a spectacular flower arrangement from ProFlowers.com. A gorgeous fresh flower arrangement is a must to dress up every birthday, holiday, or anniversary. As a special treat for you, your beautiful flowers start at an amazing low price of $19.99. And ProFlowers.com will include a free vase with floral orders. Imagine a beautiful bouquet of 100 blooms for only $19.99 with a free vase included. Every festive bouquet is guaranteed to last at least 7 days. Tell your loved ones you're thinking of them with flowers. Go to proflowers.com/radio and enter your code to receive the special offer. Enter code DAISY. That's proflowers.com/radio, code DAISY. Send a bouquet they'll never forget from proflowers.com/radio, code DAISY.
Final segment here, the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio, brought to you by Regenix. Call 1-800-REGENIX. Get your hair analyzed if you're losing your hair. 1-800-REGENIX, or go to Regenix, REGENIX.com. I'm Michael Horn, Fred Dreyer, the star of our show. Jay Johnstone joins us here, and the Orioles lose 4 straight to the Royals. The Angels lose 3 straight to the Royals. The Royals beat Oakland in 1 game. These guys are incredible on the Kansas City Royals.
7 in a row, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row.
Stealing bases, getting the key hit, got great pitching, middle relieving. What happened to the Orioles there? Is Nelson Cruz the real Babe Ruth of our time?
It's amazing, isn't it? I just think that it just goes to show you when you drink milk, it'll really help you play well.
From the breadbasket of America, Kansas City.
Yeah,
right.
And you can't, and you honestly, it would be very difficult to handicap before the playoffs started. Just to look at them on paper and to realize, go through the roster. It'd be very difficult to say what team's going to come out of there.
Well, you would never have said Kansas City was going to win it. Okay, they still have to win it, but you would have got this far.
They haven't lost a game yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. You would have never said that.
Yeah, and I don't think that. I think they're going to play the Giants, and that'll be a good series. I think the Giants are kind of like.
Giants have good pitching.
Yeah, real good. Yeah, pretty good defense too, as well. Now, real quickly, Dodgers made a trade. They made a
move.
They made a move.
Sideways.
It's kind of a trade. Coletti's out as general manager, and he should be.
Why? He won 5 division titles in 5 years.
Yeah, that's fine. No,
that doesn't
not
get you
fine.
anything.
In 9 years.
But 5 out of 9 is pretty good percentage.
Yeah, but see, it's how he lost. That's how he's defined.
Second season.
That's how he's defined.
Right.
Yeah, that's how he lost.
You can't win the second season.
And it was saying in the paper here, in the Daily News here, the LA Times Daily News, that they were saying that his method of the judging talent of throwing big money at players is becoming suspect in Major League Baseball.
What do you mean by that?
How you the difference between an outgoing Ned Coletti and an incoming Andrew Friedman is in how players are evaluated and where the value lies in terms of again on base percentage.
Looking at the numbers.
That's big time nowadays. It's like that Moneyball up there. They're all looking at the stats.
The sabermetric is what they're calling it, and it's a way of handicapping that is just saying, okay, we've got Cruz, and we've got a couple of these other guys, League, and some guys like that, and Wilson and JT Howell, guys who should be guys that should come in and really do the job for us. We're going to give you $10 million. I think that really look, if you're Clayton Kershaw,
right?
If you're Clayton Kershaw, and you look at that bullpen, aren't you pissed off?
Well, you're a little scared too.
The point is, they didn't have a guy to come in the 7th.
Get rid of the bullpen.
They didn't have a guy to come in the 7th inning. This whole thing about all we wanted is 6 good innings out of the pitcher and 7 innings, 6 2/3, and when we have a guy for the 7th and a guy for the 8th. That formula stuff, you go out the window. How many times you just sit there and you realize, let Greinke go the 8th inning. I don't care if he says, well, I'm not really feeling that good. Hey, look, it's the playoffs. I need you to go another inning. It makes all the difference in the world because I can bridge over these guys that aren't very good and get to my closer.
Right.
You got to give it to me. And I think a great manager has to put a demand on players, Jay.
I like that. And I think they had the guy in Gibson to come in the 9th inning and shut the door.
Yeah.
They couldn't get to Jensen.
Yeah, that's
I take young pitchers that are from the minors that are great, going to be future starters, and I let them be my middle relief guys and let them throw an inning. But that's our show.
I'd let them run out and get me a couple of 6-packs.
Join us every week here on the weekends on Wednesday at 4 o'clock for the PM show with the one and only Fred Dryer. Final words, Fred?
Yeah, I want to thank Jay Johnstone for driving on a 210 to get over here. Sure appreciate it. And,
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. Of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. But if cutting-edge technology is more your style, you'll be happy to know that CRN is now available on Wi-Fi radio. Simply log on to Reciva.com. That's RECIVA.com and look for CRN. You can access all of our great shows and listen live anywhere in the world. Be part of your favorite shows and get the full CRN listening experience you would have with any traditional radio, podcast, or a live stream from our website. For more information on where or how to listen, and for a full list of our programming, log on to crntalk.com and create your own listening experience today.
The radio channel. The radio channels. CRN.
I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Obama is trying to reassure the American public that an Ebola epidemic in the U.S. is unlikely.
The dangers of you contracting Ebola, the dangers of a